visually impaired. Yes, tell us all what you see. What do you see? What do you see? Tell us what is right, what is wrong, what is art, what is vision. We welcome you to A Blind Guy's View.
Hey folks, it's the Blind Guy here, and we are back with another good old movie recommendation. And on this episode, we're taking a look at 1968's Bullitt. But before we get to that, I wanted to address our sponsor for today. And this video is sponsored by my books, the epic book of dirty words. Since the movie Bullitt has a couple dirty words in it, it's appropriate. Talks about where they come from, how they're used, what they mean. It's fun. It's not meant to glorify anything. It's just a fun little book. And the second one is the epic book of random facts, where I just compiled 4,201 just random facts I thought were interesting. I don't believe it has any duplicates. I tried really hard to make sure it didn't. So check it out. Those are both on Amazon. They are on Amazon Kindle Unlimited. You can just go read them for free, or they are in the description for $5 on Amazon, or you can, of course, order yourself physical copies. I'm not a monetized channel, so that's the best way to support me. And you guys have been very generous with that, and I really appreciate it. So without further ado, here we go with Bullitt. So as always, I'm going to use Epica to tell us about the movie, because being visually impaired, it's too hard for me to read. So I write up a script, and then Epica reads it for us. Then on the other side, I will tell you what I think about the movie. So take it away, Epica.
The 1968 film Bullitt is one of the most iconic action thrillers ever made, starring Steve McQueen as the no-nonsense San Francisco police lieutenant Frank Bullitt. Directed by Peter Yates and produced by Philip D'Antoni, the film became a landmark of cinematic cool, known especially for its revolutionary car chase scene through the hilly streets of San Francisco. Alongside McQueen, the cast includes Robert Vaughn as the slick and politically driven Senator Walter Chalmers, and Jacqueline Bisset as Kathy, Bullitt's girlfriend. The plot revolves around Bullitt's mission to protect a key mob witness in a high-profile case. But when things go south, Bullitt must navigate a web of corruption, betrayal, and danger to uncover the truth. What set Bullitt apart at the time wasn't just its gritty realism or McQueen's stoic performance, but its grounded, almost documentary-like style. Audiences and critics responded enthusiastically to the film's intense energy, with particular praise aimed at the now legendary car chase sequence, which was one of the first to be shot with real cars, real speeds, and minimal special effects. Steve McQueen, an avid car enthusiast, insisted on doing many of his own driving stunts, and the Highland Green 1968 Ford Mustang GT he drove became a cultural icon in its own right. In fact, that very Mustang was rediscovered decades later in a barn in Mexico before being auctioned off for over $3 million. The chase scene through San Francisco took nearly 3 weeks to film, with speeds topping 110 miles per hour and sections of the route stitched together from multiple parts of the city, creating a thrilling but geographically impossible drive. Interestingly, Peter Yates was chosen to direct Bullitt after McQueen saw his British film Robbery, which featured a well-executed car chase of its own. The film's influence can be felt in countless action movies that followed, particularly in the way urban car chases were filmed. Bullitt also marked one of the first uses of the Panavision camera system for handheld shots, giving the film a raw and immersive quality. It went on to win the Academy Award for Best Film Editing, thanks to the seamless work of Frank P. Keller, and was even nominated for Best Sound. Today, Bullitt is remembered not only as one of Steve McQueen's defining roles, but also as a movie that helped redefine the action genre with its blend of realism, suspense, and style.
Thank you, Epica. So I have quite a bit to say about this movie. First, I have a confession to make. I am not a car person and I am not a car chase person. So that had actually stopped me from watching this movie for a long time. And I regret that a little bit because I was always under the impression that this was a car chase action style movie. It's not. It's not at all. It is a very well paced police, almost a police procedural, detective procedural type movie with a lot of intrigue. It's a lot like The French Connection to me, but I like this movie better than The French Connection. And so I regret not watching it earlier because I had the false impression with it. And part of that, I think, is how it was marketed. Even if you watch the original trailer, it's really focused on that car chase. And to me, that's just a small part of the movie. It was, to me, the part of the movie I was not super interested in, but the rest of it's really good. It uses cinematography styles that I had not seen in movies from this time period. So it feels very ahead of its time. They put a lot of things in the foreground as you're watching, which I've always liked that use in movies because it gives the audience to feel like you're there, but you're just a onlooker. It's like you're peeking around, you're seeing all this stuff. It's used extremely well in this movie. The acting is very strong. Steve McQueen is not his typical self to me in this movie. The movies I had seen him in, he's much more of like a Jack Sparrow type character. Not in this movie. He's very serious in this movie. I like it. I really do like it. When I was watching the intro of the movie, I thought, man, this feels like, it felt like almost a later Sean Connery, James Bond movie, or even something like a Pink Panther type intro. It has this music and it's a little hard to tell what's happening in the intro, but it's really cool. It's got a really cool music. It's got a really cool feel to it. I'm not going to use the word vibe. I refuse to use that. But if I did, I would say that. And to me, it just has the right amount of pacing to it. It kept my interest the whole way through. One thing that I would maybe have a negative with, it's pretty convoluted to me. And maybe that's a little bit worse for me because I'm visually impaired. It's harder to tell characters apart all the time. But I got a little lost at times in what was happening. And I actually looked it up, and it does make sense once you read through what it's totally about. But I think a second viewing would help that because you'd be like, oh, okay, I understand this character's doing this, one's doing that. But it just has a really cool feel to it. The whole movie does. And like I said, the acting's really good. The story's good. The dialogue's good. And so I highly recommend the movie. Now, if you are a car chase person and if you love those muscle cars, this is like the movie. But I'm also sure you've already seen it because this is famous amongst people that like those Mustangs and Dodge Chargers and things like that. And so if you are into those, this definitely is something you have to watch. And I just think it's probably a bit underrated because of it almost felt like it was marketed as an action movie, and it's really not. It has very little action in it, which to me, I don't mind action, but I don't like it if the movie itself is just an action movie. I need the action to be a supplement to the plot and the dialogue and the acting, and in this movie it is. So I really appreciated that about it. Let's talk about the cars because I got confused because I wrote that script out about the cars. And the one was found in Mexico and then the auction things. So I wanted to clarify because I got confused while I was doing additional research for this review. Because then there was a family that said they had owned one of the cars since like 1974. So I thought, well, how does that work when it was said that there was one discovered in a barn in Mexico much later? And so here's what happened is there were two Mustang cars used for this film. One that was called the hero car, which was the one that was never really damaged. And then the one that was the stunt car that went through a lot of abuse when they made the movie because of all the jumping and everything. And it actually loses parts of it during the chase. And so there's two cars. And the hero car, the one that was in better condition, was purchased by a family from Warner Brothers shortly after the movie, I think in the early 70s. And so that car then went to that family, and then they drove it as a regular family vehicle for quite a while. And then they hid it when they realized how much it was worth, because you have to understand that because movies hadn't featured a lot of car chases yet or those types of action stunts, there wasn't really such a thing as a movie car. I mean, Herbie or maybe something like that. But people didn't collect movie cars as much. So the family didn't realize that it was worth as much as it is. And then they kept it in the family, hid it for a long time, and then premiered it in 2018 for the 50th anniversary of the movie. So it had been driven quite a bit as a family vehicle, like 50,000 miles on it, which just blows your mind when you think about it. But then it was sold at auction in 2022, I believe, for over $3 million. So that's where that came from. The stunt car then disappeared, and because they thought it had been scrapped because it was in such bad shape. That's the one that was discovered in Mexico decades later, and then it was restored. And I'm not sure, I think it was also auctioned off. I'm not sure actually who bought that one. And so that's the lowdown on the two vehicles, the two Ford Mustangs. And so I just wanted to clarify, because when I wrote the other script, it made him sound like maybe there's only one car. There's two cars for the movie, which is really common. Okay, so those are my thoughts on this. I'll also put up a video of the hero car that's been on display a few times, like Washington, D.C., and so you guys can see what it looks like. Okay, so thank you guys for that episode of Good Old Movies. Like I said, buying the books helps support the channel. I'm also now... my company produces the band Shunned at a Funeral. So if you want to check them out, right, let's go up there. On Spotify, they're a Christian rock band that I think is pretty cool. Check them out, and that's another way you can help support what we're doing. And so I thank you guys so much for watching this review of Bullitt. Highly recommended. Probably not going to be one of my favorite movies of all time, just because, like I said, I'm not a car guy, but I do like the movie, and I would highly recommend that you also check it out. So I'll see you on the next episode of A Blind Guy's View. Laters on the Menjay.
On the Menjay.
Night, stories written, pages bright, by his books, enjoy the sight. Oh, a blind guy's calling, hear his view, trivia tells and insights true, movies, myths, and books to choose, raise your glass to a blind guy's view.